Hi, if you're new here, I'm Baz. This is the I Sharpen channel, and today I'm going to sharpen three beautiful, great condition but blunt global knives that were sent to me via mail order from Western Australia. So they're in great condition, they're not going to need anything but sharpening, so let's get straight into it. Start off with a big chef knife, clamp it in. Measure the angle. I'm probably going to choose 32 for these, even though they can take a shallower angle. I think 32 is a pretty good general purpose angle that should see great longevity and won't be too brittle. So first of all, I'll roughen the wheel with my 80 grit diamond plate. That'll bring the wheel up to about a 240 grit standard. Now, I usually start with a couple of runs on each side. Beautiful. Now you'd think that, I've got a burr there, so you'd think that grinding equal runs on each side will give it a perfect bevel, but it's not always the case. There are many things that affect how big the bevel is. For example, how slow I travel. For example, how much pressure I put down on the knife. It's whether it was lopsided to begin with, you don't know. So you've always got to use your engineering eye and make sure that they look even. And if you see any inconsistencies, now's the time to address them. So far these are looking pretty even. Oh, another thing that might affect it is when I roughen the wheel with my 80 grit plate, these global knives are very hard steel, so they will smooth the wheel just by themselves. So obviously the first run is going to have a rougher grit than the last run on the second side. So that's another thing that can affect how much grinding is put onto each side. And you've got to watch that. Make sure that the knives are delivered with as beautiful a bevel as you can manage. And sometimes, if I'm working on a global and I've been on there for a little while, the wheel will be too smooth. And in the early days, I spent a long time on the wheel. You see, now that's really smooth. So I don't know whether it needs the 320, but you don't want to go too smooth. You want to leave a little bit of bite to the edge. So I like the 320, brings it up to about 950 to 1000 grit. And I think it's better. It's got a little bit more grit than the smooth side of the Tormek stone, which I think is a bit too smooth. You can hear the knife is quieter as it runs along the wheel. Alright, that looks great. Good tips. Actually, this side needs a little bit more. Sometimes when you start on the tip you get nervous and you rotate too quickly and you don't get this radius, you don't give it enough time on the wheel. So it's important to slow down a bit as you're turning the corner to make sure that that radius gets enough time on the wheel. And the reason is that it's grinding on a singular point, as opposed to when you're on the flat, this part of the blade here will start and get all the grinding all the way across. Whereas if you're on the singular point, then as you're rotating, this say singular point in the corner will only catch a little bit of wheel before it's off the wheel again. See, that's off now. Practice your maneuvers until you get a good even result. And then speed up a bit through the rest of the knife, making sure that you get the whole heel, and pause just briefly at the end to make sure that you get the whole thing. And that one's done. I'll show you. Looks great. Nice bevel. Nice heel. The heels are always bigger because they're fatter at the back there. See? Nice tips. The tip first method is a method I first came up with to battle wonky tips. When you start from the heel and end at the tips, for some reason it always ends up with a flat spot or something weird like that. So I solved it by going tip first, and now others are doing it as well. So that looks great. Let's give it a bit of a deburr. The chrome oxide on the leather wheel. If it's shiny, it needs some more. This should be a matte finish. So I feel for the burr, and the burr is always up first. And when you have a knife with good steel, it doesn't really need much deburring. The burr just falls off. A couple of passes is all you really need. And I always deburr freehand, which is an accepted method. And by my results, I know that that's working fantastically. And I always check my fingernail from the back all the way to the front to see if it catches. And that is very smooth. So let's finish off there by wiping off the compound as it's accumulated on the bevel, both sides, so that when I go over to the kangaroo strop, there's no contamination, because the kangaroo tail strop needs to be clean and raw. Making sure that I get the full length of the strop. If I go across too early, then this heel, for example, only gets a few inches of stropping and then it's off the board. See? So I'll do a whole length, come back a little bit, just a few passes is plenty, then into the middle, and then the tip. And then it's okay to go across just to finish up. And I finish on the suede side, especially with a fine knife. Let's have a look. A little bit catchy though. I mean, that's fantastic, but still, it's got a little bit of catching. Let's try again. Much better. See that? That's that done. On to the second one. Check the angle again. This one needs to be lifted up a bit. Beautiful. Lock it in. Oh, it's a bit short on water. Just barely dipping in there. Let's give it a good old bath. Now, start again with the 80. That feels nice and rough. What I love about the Tomex system is that it's guided and it gives you a consistent even beautiful bevel, the likes of which a freehand system can't do. Doesn't mean the freehanders don't end up with sharp knives, because they certainly do, but this just takes the guesswork out of it. It makes me look like a pro. Bit of a burr there, but it's weak in the middle, so I'm going to keep going. What's up, Chili? What's up, mate? Got a half bark. That's weird. He rarely barks without a reason, so I wonder if somebody's maybe mowing their lawn out the front. My neighbour. Hey, neighbour. Okay, that looks great. And I've got a good strong burr. Oh, 3/4 bark there. And then I like to finish off with a couple of light pressure passes. See, not much pressure, just enough to hold the knife on the wheel. It always needs some pressure because the wheel's coming at me in an edge leading fashion, so you know the knife wants to come up. You got to hold it a little bit, but the angle is generally pretty acute. Beautiful. What do you think of that? Nice even bevel all the way to the back. Of course, these knives are being done for one of our subscribers here. I won't mention his name, but he knows who he is, and I thank him for trusting me with his beautiful globals. Bit of compound. Feel the burr. It's on the top now. Three is probably a bit much, but I've done 3 now, so you don't want to overdo it. Easy to round off that edge. And match it with 3. Should be very smooth now. Ooh, perfect. Still feels sharp though. I've been using the fingernail method for all my years with only a few little small scars. Nothing really. Okay. Let's finish up. Good on the suede. Light pressure. Okay. Let's see how that goes. Oh, great entry. Magnificent glide edge and a fantastic finish. And now the last one is the bunker. So blunt, look. Try doing that on my sharpened knives. Hospital. Immediately. Blood squirting. And that must be the same width as the santoku because that looks magnificent. All right. Roughen up the wheel. And my aim for this channel is to assist people who have bought Tormex to get up to my speed as quickly as possible. So that's why I keep repeating myself over and over again. You're here to watch knife sharpening. I'm not sure how interesting I can be. I wish I was Mr. Beast. with his hundreds of millions of subscribers, but this is just my little old channel doing the best I can to share my knowledge so that others can provide fantastically sharp knives, either for themselves or for their clients. Had a big day today. How many did I do today? 20. And in US dollars I charge about 12 bucks per knife, which is about 20 bucks in Australia for those who are curious, and I know some of you are. So you don't have to be flat out in order to make a living. This can make you a living doing part-time. And if you work from home like I do, even better. Alright, we've got a full burr. So now we'll finish off with a 320. Quiet. Recalcitrant water tray. Beautiful. Beautiful. Try one more pass with a light touch. Try and remove as much of that burr as possible. Fantastic. Good burrage. Now let's get that off. Burr to the top. Beautiful. Nearly finished. Beautiful, even Tormek grind. Look at that. Magnificent. And if you look really carefully, you can see the little silvery bevel that I've put on using the leather wheel. Just a little 8000 grit right on the apex of the edge. See it there? That may be the secret to my super sliciness. Not sure. I'm sure it's a combination of things. And nobody taught me this stuff. A little bit was picked up off the internet, of course. Dr. Vadim over at Knife Grinders Australia, RIP. And even watching those super long Tormek videos have taught me something, although I don't always follow their advice. What we've got here, haven't we? We're now consistently slicing tally-ho paper, which should get these down to around about a best of 120 or better, which is plenty. That's twice as sharp as factory. Oh, great entry. Look at that. Oh, magnificent. And that is a great condition global. Look at that logo. Really fantastic. Oop, there's my thumbnail. So that was the 3 globals that were mail ordered to me in a padded satchel. And inside the padded bag was another padded bag for the return shipping. Super easy. So if you're in Australia somewhere, you want me to sharpen your knives, I can do that. Just send me the knives in a padded bag. Inside the padded bag, self-addressed other paper padded bag, and you'll get them back wrapped up nice. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.